Lesson 2 of Chapter 1 is on properties of numbers. We're going to look at 4 different types of properties in this lesson. We'll look at commutative, associative, identity, and distributive properties. First thing will be commutative. In commutative, the idea behind this is that you could add numbers in any order in a math problem, and you could also multiply numbers in any order as well. And just to kind of show you an example of this, if I were to have $1, a quarter, a dime, and 2 pennies, if I counted them in that order, added them up in that order, it would give me $1.37. I could count that like this too: 2 pennies plus a dime plus a quarter plus a dollar. Hey, I still have $1.37. So that's the idea behind that. And here's just another example to show you that this will still add up to $1.37. Adding, you can go in any direction as long as it's all addition. So with that in mind, here's another example with real numbers then. 3 plus 8 plus 4 plus 9 equals 24. Same 4 numbers, different order, add them together, that's going to give you 24 as well. And then twice more down here. You can check them yourselves to see if they actually are true. Same thing with multiplication. Here I have 4 times 5 times 2 times 3. Try it yourself. That's going to equal 120. Same 4 numbers, different order, it's going to give you 120 as well. So you can go in any order as long as you multiply all the way across, and you'll get that same answer no matter what. Associative property, you can see that first part of that word, you see associate right there. And it's all about associating numbers with different ones. And same idea when you're adding or multiplying, you can group the numbers together in any combination. So I'm going to use these kind of people as an example, associating. Here we have 2 blue plus 1 red that are associating together, plus 1 blue and 1 red associating together, plus 1 blue. That still gives you 6 people. 4 total blue people, 2 red people, 6 altogether. Here we have 2 blue together. We have a red and a blue that are associated. We have a red and a blue that are associated. Add all those together. Hey, you still end up with 6. So you see that these are associated the first time, the 2 and 1. Now the 2 is all by itself. The 1 plus 1 is over here by itself, or grouped together. And then this all adds up to 6 either way. So same idea with this. Here we have the 4 and the 5 grouped together in parentheses, plus 1. That's going to give you 10. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Here we have the 4 by itself now, and then the 5 and 1 are grouped together. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So you're going to get the same answer no matter how you group it, as long as you're adding like that. Same thing with multiplication. Now we have 9 times 2, that's going to be 18. 18 times 6 is 108. Now the 9 is by itself, and the 2 and the 6 are associating, you could say. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 9 is 108. So you can associate different numbers together within multiplication or addition and get those same answers. Let's look at identity property. Using the best football player in the world, Aaron Rodgers, to show this one. So the sum of 0 in any number is the number. The product of 1 in any number is a number as well. The idea behind that is if I add 0 to Aaron Rodgers, his identity is still Aaron Rodgers. It's still just 1 Aaron Rodgers. If I did Aaron Rodgers times 1 Aaron Rodgers would be just Aaron Rodgers. See how that works? So identity is showing you like who you are, or showing what the number is. So if we're putting this into real numbers, identity is just showing what 7 is. 0 plus 7 equals 7. 7 equals 7 plus 0 is another way to put that. Multiplying times 1, 9 times 1 equals 9. 9 equals 1 times 9. So this is identity property, showing your identity by either adding 0, which does nothing to you, or multiplying times 1, which just does nothing as well. Let's look at distributive property. The word I want you to see in here is distribute. Distributive property. And that's what we do in this multiplication problems here. When we have 6 times 35, you can actually distribute that 35 into 30 plus 5. And then what you do is you distribute the 6 when you multiply. So for example, you could just do 6 times 35, but you don't always have a calculator handy. So if you're doing it mentally, you could do 6 times 30, which is 180. And then do 6 times 5, which would be 30. And we see this adding sign right here. Let's add those together. 180 plus 30 is going to give us 210. Go ahead, do 6 times 35 in your calculator. Guess what that's going to be? 210 as well. This is going to make math a lot easier for you, mental math especially. You can break up that 35, 30 plus 5 equals 35, and then multiply them separate, then add the answer together. Let's try it for this one, except we're going to be doing simplifying with subtraction. 18 is really close to 20. So if you do 7 times 20 minus 2, which would still equal 18, you can do the same thing and get the same answer. 7 times 20 is 140. 7 times 2 is 14. But last time I put a plus here because there was a plus sign there. Guess what I'm going to do here? There's a minus sign here, so I got to do subtract. 140 minus 14, that's going to give me 126. So this is a really good mental math tool for you to use. It's also really good to teach you how to do algebra in the future with different variables too. So whether you feel like you need this or not, it's something really good to learn because it's going to be used in algebra a lot. So for this one, these kind of problems tell us which property is being represented here. Here I have 1 plus 6 plus 7 associated equals 1 plus 6 associated plus 7. If I didn't give it away already, I hope you could always go back and look at the previous parts of the lecture. Here we see associations of numbers, so it's the associative property. So we're going to type associative there. Now we have 3 times 5 is the same thing as 5 times 3. So all I see here is a different order. And remember what property that was? That would be commutative. Commutative means you can go in any order. Let's go to the distributive property here now. Use the distributive property to find each product. So you might be able to do 9 times 15 in your head, but it wants you to do practice distributive property. So I'm going to do 9 times 10 plus 5. And this is going to make it pretty easy for me. I know what 9 times 10 is. That's going to be 90. And then I know what 9 times 5 is. That's going to be 45. And you notice I put a plus sign there because the plus sign is right here. That's going to give me 135 if you add those together. Now we have 3 times 58. I'm going to do the subtraction way. I'm going to do 3 times 60 minus 2. 60 minus 2 equals 58. So 3 times 60 will give me 180. Then I'm going to do minus because the subtraction sign's there. 3 times 2, which would be 6. So 180 minus 6, 174. And remember, you can always check your answers with your calculator. Just do 3 times 58, 174.